World's most prestigious prize, correct, that is Nobel Prize 2023 has been announced. So guys, you have to remember this, the prize is being announced in the month of October, but the ceremony of handing over the awards is done on December 10th. That is the basically death anniversary of Alfred Nobel. Correct. So guys, before starting the session, let me introduce myself that I am Rohit, your GK mentor. So if you talk about the history of Nobel Prize, so basically it has been originated in 1901 in the loving memory of and most respected industrialist, chemist, scientist, you can say, that is Alfred Nobel. In his will, basically he has mentioned that after his death, the Nobel Prize should be initiated in 5 fields. And the one field, that is Nobel Prize in Economic Science, has been initiated since 1968. So in exams they can ask you about in which categories these prizes are given. So basically there are 6 categories in which these prizes are given. So which are these categories which is shown on your screen? That is literature, physics, chemistry, economic science, peace, and physiology or medicine. So basically in 1896, when the Alfred Nobel died, in his will he said that after I am gone, after I am not here in this world, that you should supposed to give my entire wealth to this prizes, and he only gave this name, that is Nobel Prizes. And the year 1901, the first prize was declared in the field of, in the category of Nobel. So basically in this Nobel Prize, you are given with a medal, a diploma, and there is of course the award money itself. So when we talk about the medal is basically 65 millimeters in diameter and it weighs around 175 grams. Like we have said earlier that the ceremony is held on 10th of December because that is the death anniversary of the Alfred Nobels. So basically see, it has been announced in the October, but the ceremony is going to held on 10th of December. Whenever it comes to any of the prizes, always do remember from your exam perspective that there is always a committee which declares the winner or the declares that who is going to get that prizes. So this Nobel committee is very much important from your exam perspective. So you might not remember each and every member, but you should always remember the chairperson of this Nobel committee. And who was the chairperson of this Nobel committee is Berit Reiss Anderson. So when we are talking about Nobel Prizes, so let's start with our first Nobel Prize of the year 2023 in the field of chemistry, and it has been jointly shared by 3 people. So who are these 3 people? It is Mohangi G. Bhavandi, Louis Bruss, and Alexei Ekimov, and they have been given this award for the discovery and synthesis of quantum dots. So whenever you are studying from your exam perspective, so these are the list of few people who have received a Nobel Prize twice. So this kind of questions they can ask you in your exams. So do remember the name. The first name is Frederick Sanger. He received in 1958 as well as in 1980. And the second name over here is Carl Barry Sharpless. He received in 2001 and 2022. Now, there is one more name on the list, that is Linus Pauling. Basically, he received Chemistry Nobel Prize in 1954 and as well as Peace Prize in 1962. That is 2 different categories we can see over here. So, when you're talking about Nobel Prize, you should always remember that who is the youngest recipient for that and who is the oldest recipient for that Nobel Prize. So if you are talking about chemistry, the youngest one is Frederick Olliat. He received the Nobel Prize in the chemistry at the age of 35 years, and the oldest one to receive the Nobel Prize in chemistry is John B. Goodenough. So let's discuss about the second Nobel Prize that is given in the field of physics. Again, the Nobel Prize in the field of physics was shared by 3 people. Okay, who were the peoples? That is very much important for your exam perspective. So the first one is Perry Agostini, Frank Cross, and Anne Hulier. They have been given for their generated attosecond pulses of light for the study of electrodynamics in matter. So basically, whenever you're studying, you should always remember for the current scenario in which area they have worked, in which field, or for what purpose they have been given the Nobel Prize. This kind of question they can ask you in your exams. Again, if we talk about Nobel Prize in Physics, so let's see that who is the youngest, who is the oldest, and basically you should always remember that John Bardeen is the only person who has received Nobel Prize in Physics twice, that is in the year of 1956 and 1972. Again, if you talk about the youngest Nobel laureate in physics, it is William at the age of 25, and the oldest is the Arthur at the age of 96. Now, there is also one name in the list, that is Marie Curie. She is the first female to receive the Nobel Prize, as well as only woman to receive 2 Nobel Prizes. 1903 she received for physics, and 1911 she received in chemistry. That is 2 different fields we can see over here. Now, let's come to the next Nobel Prize, that is physiology or medicine. So basically this Nobel Prize was shared by 2 persons. That is, one was Kathleen Carrico and the next was Drew Weissman for the development of mRNA vaccine against COVID-19. Now let's come to the same question over here, that who was the youngest and who is the oldest person to receive Nobel Prize in medicine. So basically, if you talk about the youngest, it is Frederick at the age of 32, and if you talk about the oldest, it is the Python at the age of 87. When we are talking about the science, but basically literature also is not behind. So now let's talk about the Nobel Prize in literature, and it was given to Jan Fosse for his innovative plays and prose which gave voice to the unsayable. Now let's see that who was the youngest person to receive the Nobel Prize in literature and who is the oldest person. So if you talk about the youngest person, it is Rudyard at the age of 41, and if you are talking about the oldest person, it is Doris at the age of 88, and he received the Nobel Prize in the year 2007. Now we have seen the different fields in which the Nobel Prize were given. There is no exceptional that the Nobel Prize in Peace is also very much important in this contemporary world. And the Nobel Peace Prize was given to Nargis Mohammadi for her fight against the oppression of women in Iran and her fight to promote human rights and freedom for all. So if we talk about the Nobel Peace Prize, so the youngest one to receive was Malala at the age of only 17, and the oldest one to receive the Nobel Peace Prize was Joseph at the age of 87. That was in the year of 1995. Now let's see the last Nobel Prize in Economic Science. So first of all, you should know that Nobel Prize in Economic Science has been created in 1968, and it was first time given in the year of 1969. So the Economic Science Nobel Laureate for the year 2023 has been given to Claudia Golden for her research in the women's labor market outcomes. Let's see the Nobel Prize in Economic Science. Who is the youngest and who is the oldest? As you can see over here, Esther Duflo is the youngest one. She has received at the age of 46 in the year of 2019. Okay, and the oldest one is Leonid Euphrates at the age of 90, and he received the Nobel Prize in Economic Science in the year 2007. We have seen the different Nobel Prizes over here, and Indians are not back in this field as well. So the first person to receive the Nobel Prize was Rabindranath Tagore in the year of 1913, and the category was literature. So they can ask you that which was the person to receive the Nobel Prize, as well as they can ask you the year and your category from your exam perspective. So you should always remember there was C.V. Raman. He received in the category of physics in the year 1930. Then we have Khurana over here. He received medicine category in 1968. Then we have Mother Teresa. She got this in the field of Nobel Peace Prize. That was in the year 1979. So you have to remember all this stuff when you are preparing for your exams. So this was not the only list. If we go forward, the last one was the latest one, I will say, to receive the Nobel Prize was in economic science, that is Abhijit Banerjee, in the year of 2019 for his approach for elevating global poverty. I hope you have enjoyed this session and you have got the necessary information which was helpful for your exam perspective. So if it is, then do share with your friends as well. Thank you.